What is going on, guys? I feel like this is going to be an intervention more than a video, but I think it speaks to how the divide in this community and the misconception of people online is. So let me just start by saying, when you have to come out and reference that you said something so disgraceful, so disgusting, that it has no place in our society, the way you can avoid having to prevent things like that from being said or being brought up is simply not be that person. So we really start here by knowing truly the type of person that we're dealing with. Now, I'm not going to use his audio because he's going to file a claim and because he wants attention and because he sent about 8 or 9 people at me on Twitter today. When you're done watching this, I'll put a link down in the description. You can go and listen to his show and let him know what you think about it. So we're just going to start with his quotes. The only time I had an interaction with this human being in my 4 years of being in the community at this level, it has always been something negative. It has always been talking negatively about another person or Madden in general. This is just flat out false. It's just absolutely fabricated. In fact, the first interaction I had with Dubby was after Jacksonville. I reached out and hoped he was okay. I reached out to a lot of people in the community that day. I didn't know him. I just wanted to make sure that he was good. That was our first interaction. The second interaction, though, because that one went unresponded to, was after, much like now, he's online talking in a way that he can't live. So he has this concept of where there's a real world issue here. Like, he really knows these people, and like we have a real world problem. Because, I don't know, maybe to him, he's used to talking to people online with 500 people in his podcast, and they see a bald guy with a beard and they get intimidated. But that's not me. So when you come to me and you won a physical confrontation, I actually gave you a tournament local to both of us, and you responded the way most people online do. You never showed up. Because again, that's truly the type of person we're dealing with. So really, in this interaction, who is being negative? Was it me or was it you? How do you feel you should approach someone you don't know? Let's move forward, though. We'll talk about his issues with me. There has never been an ounce of talent from this man, an ounce of positivity, an ounce of anything credible other than absolute pure negativity. To me, this is where we get into the intervention aspect of the video, because do you solely live online and for Madden? Because if you wanted to talk about talent, you could easily say that I failed at the highest level of racing. Okay, I spent 90% of my career part-time on underfunded teams. And you could make an entire video on this. You could also take a look at a guy that I used to be really good friends with that lost one of the most one-sided championship fights in UFC history to John Jones. You could in turn look at my belt, which I understand you might not fully comprehend. See, my belts, they're not earned on a video game, Dubby. My belts are actually won in tournaments and practices. But you could ask yourself, or openly ask, why has this individual been a blue belt for 4 years? Why did this individual lose to a white belt on an open roll at a tournament? So you could make the case, if you really wanted to, if you actually knew a lot about me, or you took time to formulate an honest opinion, you could lay out the case that I'm not successful as an athlete at high levels. But you don't want to do that because, in my opinion, you live online. And that means everyone else must live online. That means your sole purpose must be grounded online in your Madden 2017 championship, and that everyone else can only have accomplishments viewed at through the lens of a gamer. Now, as far as the negativity, it's not even worth it to show you the amount of time and money I've donated just last month to help other people. Because, see, that's the thing. When I look at your tweets and I look at the comments you've made in the past, I don't have those. No one can dig up tweets where I'm saying insensitive things because I was raised differently. I was raised to respect others. I was raised to give back to my community. At minimum with your time. If you can with your money. I grew up with my dad donating his time to coach all Little League sports. With my uncle paying for our uniforms. So I saw how critical it was for adults and local businesses to sponsor youth sports. And I've always done everything I can to help those platforms in my community and those less fortunate, because the reality is, just because I'm not holding a fake belt on my Twitter, I've been extremely successful in my life. Now, I'm not going to get to your level. I'm not going to bring up views or subs. I'm not going to bring up podcast numbers, because I'm a grateful person. But to me, it seems pretty clear that you can't separate Madden in real life. You can't get over the fact that I spend about an hour a day on Madden, but that doesn't mean my world revolves around it. Just because yours doesn't mean that everyone else's has to. But I wonder, do you look at what I do and do you worry that it has a negative impact on your livelihood, your status as a pro gamer? The game gets exposed. Maybe you don't sell as many ebooks. Taking a look at this next quote. The only thing they can do is talk negatively and rile up an angry mob that is also mad at their life, and they are mad at their situation. It seems to me you like to project you know a lot. You know about other people. You know about me as a person. You know about that angry mob. The reality is I could die today, and I've lived my dream 10 times over. And I don't mean in a video game, Dubby. I've worked with some of the greatest race car drivers on earth. People I idolized as a kid. I've competed against, cornered, and trained with absolute world championship fighters. I have a podcast with one of the most respected commentators in all of sport. Most people aspire to do one. To some people, that's a life accomplishment, just one. I've done all three. But you think I hate my life. You think I'm mad at my situation. It shows me that you're not a different person from those tweets you were so concerned about me bringing up. You genuinely feel that you or other people are better than others. You know what I'm mad about in my life, Dubby? I'm mad that I had a girlfriend take her life, and I don't know that I did enough to stop it, but I live with that. I'm mad that my mom has a terminal illness, and I'm not a match to donate a kidney to her, but I live with that. That's my life, though, Dubby. That's not Madden. That's not a video game. So when you talk about degrading people, you do that in the title of your video by saying you versus the bots. You're literally degrading people in the title. You then go on to say that you're elite. That's a mindset where others aren't equal to you. And that projects so much of the same mindset we just talked about. And maybe you can tell this to little kids that buy MUT packs or competitive gamers that you're a changed man. But the reality is, we all see who you really are. Now, you do have some legitimate talent when it comes to drawing. I want to point that out. But to me, I see someone desperate for this game not to change. Someone that fears the game changing might make them less relevant. And just to close this out, if you ever wonder why, rarely do people come out and talk about me personally in this community. It's because of videos like this, Dubby. It's because the people that do know me in this community, I've had great conversations with. Always know I'm a phone call, text, or direct message away. And very rarely do I talk to those people about Madden. As a matter of fact, there's a good chance if you're watching this, if I'm not your favorite creator, someone else is, me and that person probably have a pretty good relationship. Aside from that, I've got a 15-minute going over everything missing from Madden franchise tonight, which I can't help but say would come across a little negative. But you know, when the Madden champ came at me today, I had to let him know. The reality is this game is in a negative place. And for the most part, the people that talk about it may come across negative because that's just where we are. Love to know what you guys think about this. I appreciate you checking it out. You know I will be back in the week with more content.